What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin Breeze here, and in this video, we're going to be comparing the new ZTE Blade Max View to the iPhone XS Max. Now, both of these devices are available unlocked, so if you want to buy them, then definitely take a look at the link in the video description, as that'll take you over to where they're for sale. Now, the ZTE Blade Max View is available for $199, and the iPhone XS Max in this configuration is available at $1,099. So basically you can buy at least 5 ZTE Blade Max Views for the price of one iPhone XS Max. So just based on that alone, these two devices don't necessarily compete with each other head to head, but I thought this would be an interesting video to show how the ZTE Blade Max View compares to one of the most expensive smartphones on the market. Now, since both of these devices are unlocked, that means that you can use them with a variety of different carriers, and you're not tied down to a specific carrier. So if you're using one carrier and you get tired of it and you want to switch over to another one, then it's literally just as simple as swapping out the SIM cards, and then you're good to go. Now, with the ZTE Blade Max View, you're getting a 6-inch TFT display coming in at 1080p, and with the iPhone XS Max, you're getting a 6.5-inch display, so a larger display, and the resolution of this is higher than 1080p. It actually comes in at 1242 by 2688 pixels, so it's kind of a weird resolution. It's something that Apple uses for their phones, but basically you are getting a better display here with the iPhone XS Max with a higher pixel density than you're getting with the ZTE Blade Max View. What's great though is that both of these devices feature a 18:9 aspect ratio, which means that they are both taller than the traditional 16:9 aspect ratio that's found on a lot of other devices. And really that 18:9 aspect ratio is something that really is only found in premium handsets. So it's great to see that the ZTE Blade Max View has that taller aspect ratio despite it being a budget device. Now on the ZTE Blade Max View, there is no notch at the top. It's kind of that more traditional design, but on the iPhone XS Max, you do get the notch. However, you can see here that there's a lot more bezel on the ZTE Blade Max View than there is on the iPhone XS Max, especially on the bottom here, where there's a pretty large lip on the ZTE device, whereas on the Apple device, there really isn't much of a lip at all. But then on the top, you can see that the notch kind of goes down about the same distance as the top bezel on the ZTE Blade Max View. Now, it really comes down to your personal opinion whether or not you'd rather have this notch design here, or if you just want to go with more of a traditional design with the ZTE Blade Max View. But what's great about both of these devices though is that in general, they both have great displays. Despite the display being not as good as the display on the iPhone XS Max, the ZTE Blade Max View still has an awesome display. So you're not going to be disappointed with the displays in either of these devices. Now moving up to the top here, we have the front-facing cameras. On the ZTE Blade Max View, we have an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, and on the iPhone XS Max, we have a 7-megapixel front-facing camera. So the front-facing camera on the ZTE Blade Max View is actually higher resolution. With the ZTE Blade Max View, you're getting 32 gigabytes of internal storage with the ability to expand that with a micro SD card. Now with the iPhone XS Max, there is no micro SD card expansion, but this base configuration here comes in with 64 gigabytes of internal storage. With the ZTE Blade Max View, there is no wireless charging, but with the iPhone XS Max, there is wireless charging. On the ZTE Blade Max View, we have a fingerprint sensor on the back here, but on the iPhone XS Max, there is no fingerprint sensor. Now taking a look at the rear here, both of these devices have a dual camera setup, which means that you get portrait mode with both of these, which is pretty awesome, especially considering that portrait mode is a feature that was kind of pioneered on the iPhone and really hasn't made its way over to many budget handsets yet. So it's great to see that ZTE has portrait mode here in the camera. But with the ZTE Blade Max View, you're getting a 16-megapixel camera on top and a 2-megapixel camera on the bottom. And with the iPhone XS Max, you're getting a 12-megapixel camera. And I'm not sure if that's for both cameras here, but I'm pretty sure it is. So you do get a higher megapixel count on the ZTE Blade Max View than you're getting on the iPhone XS Max. Now, I would like to note here that on the iPhone XS Max, there is a front-facing portrait mode, but on the ZTE Blade Max View, the portrait mode is limited to just the rear camera. On the ZTE Blade Max View, we're getting 3 GB of RAM, and on the iPhone XS Max, we get 4 GB of RAM. The ZTE Blade Max View features a Qualcomm Snapdragon 435 processor, and the iPhone XS Max has an Apple A12 Bionic processor. Video recording resolution on the ZTE Blade Max View is limited at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and video recording resolution on the iPhone XS Max is limited at 4K at 60 frames per second. The ZTE Blade Max View features a beefy 4000 mAh battery, and the battery on the iPhone XS Max is a bit smaller, coming in at 3179 mAh. The ZTE Blade Max View runs Android 7.1 Nougat, at least at the moment, but there's an update promised in the future, and the iPhone XS Max runs iOS 12. Now that we've gone over a variety of different specifications here, let's now compare the outside hardware of these two devices. So on the left side, on the ZTE Blade Max View, all we have is the tray here for the SIM card and microSD card. But on the iPhone XS Max, we have the mute switch, and we have the volume rockers. Then taking a look at the right side here, on the ZTE Blade Max View, we have the volume rockers and we have the power button. And on the iPhone XS Max, we have the power button and we have the SIM card slot. Taking a look at the top of these two devices, on the ZTE Blade Max View, we have the noise canceling mic and a 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the iPhone XS Max, we have nothing. Now, I also want to mention that there is no 3.5mm headphone jack on the iPhone X. And finally, taking a look at the bottom, on the ZTE Blade Max View, we have the microphone, we have the USB Type-C port, and we have the speaker. And on the iPhone XS Max, we have the speaker, and we have a lightning port. On the backside, on the ZTE Blade Max View, we have the camera module, we have the flash, and we have the fingerprint sensor. And on the iPhone X, we have the camera module and the flash. And then, like I mentioned before, on the front here, we have the front-facing cameras up at the top. We have the earpiece, of course. We have the navigation on the bottom, which is done with the typical Android navigation buttons on the ZTE Blade Max View, and done with a new swiping gesture on the iPhone XS Max. And then we have the displays here, with a 6-inch display on the ZTE Blade Max View, and a 6.5-inch display on the iPhone XS Max. Okay, let's now see which device is faster in some commonly performed tasks. We're going to start by starting up the cameras. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it seemed like the iPhone XS Max was near instant at starting up the camera, and the ZTE Blade Max View was also very quick, but was slightly slower. Let's start up Google Chrome on both devices to see which one is quicker at starting it. 1, 2, 3, go. Seemed like the iPhone XS Max was quicker at starting up Google Chrome, but I've got to say that both devices are pretty quick at it. Let's now pull up Engadget.com on both devices. 1, 2, 3, go. And in this test, the iPhone XS Max was a lot quicker at pulling up Engadget. Let's try pulling up this story here. 1, 2, 3, go. And in this test, the ZTE Blade Max View was quicker. Alright, so that concludes my comparison between the ZTE Blade Max View and the iPhone XS Max. I think this video will be especially helpful to people who are considering getting the ZTE Blade Max View and want to see how it compares with one of the most expensive smartphones on the market, which is the iPhone XS Max. So if you like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. If you want to buy either of these devices, then check out the links in the video description. And if you have any questions at all, or if you have anything else you'd like me to test here on the channel, then let me know down in the comments section below. But thanks again for watching, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.